The blade is raised. The name has been spoken. You are not hidden anymore. This is not punishment. This is unveiling. You are not late. You are right on the edge of the appointed hour. Now listen closely. The next 2 hours are not like the last. What happens now is permanent, sealed in eternity's ink. Your breath carries weight. Your posture matters. They are listening. And something ancient is waiting to see what you do next. There is movement in places you once trusted. Not footsteps, intentions. Not noise, energy. Someone with your name on their tongue has stirred the soil beneath your destiny. The betrayal did not arrive with thunder. It crept in softly, disguised in love, wrapped in routine. But it has cracked the mirror of your protection and awakened something violent beneath your path. Beneath your feet, something ancient growls, not in anger, but in warning. It senses what was taken, what was twisted, what was offered behind your back without your permission. The air holds a charge, waiting for your spirit to acknowledge what your mind already fears. There are fingerprints on your name. Not the fingerprints of God. Not the anointing of light. These were laid by hands that smiled while they carved, and kissed you on the forehead while they planned your spiritual collapse. Your house still smells like them. Not physically, but energetically. They left something behind that didn't belong to you, and it is now coiled in your shadow, watching. Your silence was misunderstood as weakness. Your stillness was mistaken for blindness. But heaven kept you quiet for a reason, to let them reveal themselves fully. God says the snare has already closed around their intentions. What they meant for delay will become the fire that purifies you. The hourglass has cracked, and their time to undo what they did has evaporated. They spoke your secrets in a room you weren't in. They twisted your essence and disguised it as concern. They summoned things they didn't understand, and now those things are looking for repayment. Archangel Michael says one of them made a vow on your behalf without your knowing. That vow became a spiritual contract. And now heaven must intervene to sever it. You feel it in your chest, don't you? That pressure? That pulling? It's not anxiety, it's divine conflict. You are being torn from the trap they dressed as kindness. Tonight, they will dream of you. Not because they love you, but because something is beginning to haunt them. The light around your name is becoming sharp, and their spirits are beginning to flinch. This was not a mistake. It was permitted. Their betrayal activated your deliverance. The old protection that once shielded you has been updated. You are no longer guarded. You are now armored. The difference is vast, and soon, it will be known. The scent of burnt salt will appear suddenly, without cause. That is the sign that their ritual has been exposed. Their words spoken in the dark have returned to them with mouths full of smoke. They wanted your delay because they feared your arrival. They feared your presence because it proves they're pretending. Your light unmasks their shadows. There is a woman involved. She was never called to speak over your life, but she tried. There is a man involved. He placed you on an altar not built by God. Both will soon find themselves facing echoes of what they sent. Archangel Michael says the scroll has been read. Heaven knows. The sentence is sealed, and divine intervention is not a request, it's an order. The pressure you feel is the collapse of their illusion. You are no longer held hostage by their spell. They cursed a version of you that no longer exists. You will hear from them. Not directly, but through patterns, interruptions, misplaced kindness. Their spirits will begin to reach for you when they realize you've ascended past the damage they hoped would bind you. They underestimated the God in you. They underestimated the fire sleeping beneath your ribs. And now that fire is roaring. Watch the left side of your room. That's where the signal will appear. Something falling, something flickering, something bending light. That will mark the moment your spirit rips free from what they tried to tie you to. Do not be afraid of the shaking. It's the divine reordering your alignment. It's the justice of God rearranging the pieces in your favor. The betrayal was the ignition. The wound became the weapon. Your tears became tools. And now your name is too heavy for them to carry. They will retreat. They will rewrite. They will pretend. But heaven saw what they did while the world slept, and you will not carry the debt for their decision. God says you are being pulled into a courtroom of spirit. Not for judgment, but for restoration. The scales will balance. The fire will burn through the thread they thought would hold you forever. There is no more delay. There is no more shadow play. The veil is gone. The truth is sharpened. This betrayal has triggered your transformation. Something in the realm has started counting. Not your time, but theirs. The ones who whispered behind veils, the ones who bent your image, the ones who wanted your silence, heaven has begun their final hour. It begins with wind. Not weather, but movement. Invisible hands brushing through reality, rearranging atmosphere, making space for what must descend. You will feel it like a chill even in heat. You will sense it like a presence with no footsteps. The divine has issued a warning wrapped in mercy, but the hourglass bleeds fast now. This is not punishment. This is balance. The world must feel the weight of what it did to you. God says the next 2 hours will alter more than time. They will fracture timelines built on lies. They will reset the sky over your name. The wind will move objects. It will shift doors, tug curtains, knock at silence. Do not resist it. It is not here to frighten you. It is the whisper of the archangels clearing what should never have stood. There are papers, names, promises made without divine consent. These were hidden beneath layers of fake light, beneath performances designed to look like love, but God always lets the mask drop when justice knocks. You weren't meant to see what you saw. But now that you have, the heavens have placed a shield over your heart. You will not break. You will rise. Archangel Michael says the sword has been drawn. Not for vengeance, but to part the lies from the truth. To sever what has tangled your forward motion. The wind will enter your dreams next. It will bring voices not heard before, messages coded in light, sounds that vibrate deeper than language. Pay attention to what you feel, not just what you hear. There is a spirit being removed from your atmosphere. It came through a false promise. It attached through emotion. But now it has been identified, and it trembles. You are not just protected, you are now under divine surveillance. Nothing will touch you without heaven's awareness. Every breath from now is watched by the throne. This storm will not be televised. This battle will not be public. But its effects will rewrite your story in silence. Some will suddenly exit your life. Don't chase them. Their season has ended. The ones who could not honor you were never part of your prophecy. God says you will be untouched, even when the shaking starts. The shift is for your release. The disruption is your liberation. Pay attention to technology around you. Glitches. Delays. Flickers. That is the veil unraveling. That is spiritual interference clearing its final block. The wind will know your name. It will call it softly. You will hear it when no one else does. That is your confirmation. Heaven is aligning with your very breath. There is a conversation about you happening in another city. Their words will not land. Their curse will bounce. Their intentions have expired. The next knock on your door will not be from a human. It will be a signal, something lost suddenly found, something broken suddenly mended. That is how you'll know the shift is active. The betrayal you survived has now become the proof of your favor. The words they weaponized have shattered in their own mouths. You remain standing. Do not look back. The old path is gone. Not destroyed, erased. You walk forward now on ground freshly written by the hand of God. Archangel Michael says your silence is now your strength. Your restraint is your roar. The spirit realm has adjusted its posture to your rising. There is a bird you'll see. Not random. Not coincidence. Its wings will reflect what your spirit is becoming. Swift. Unreachable. Fierce with grace. This wind is not symbolic. It is prophetic. It will announce itself in your space and shift the air until every secret aligns with divine truth. Those who lied in whispers will now tremble in echoes. Those who watched your pain silently will now be haunted by your rising. God says 2 hours are enough to change a destiny. 2 hours are enough to expose 20 years of deception. 2 hours are enough to set your feet on holy ground again. Do not speak of this to those who are not assigned to your elevation. Not all ears can carry this vibration. Not all hearts can celebrate your deliverance. You will soon forget the sting of the betrayal. Not because it didn't hurt, but because the blessing will be heavier than the wound. Prepare yourself. Not with action, but with stillness. Heaven does not need your panic. It only requires your readiness. There will be a crackling in the distance. A moment where silence deepens unnaturally. That is the final lock breaking. That is when your spirit steps free. Your next breath will carry new authority. Not borrowed, not given, learned. Bestowed. Sealed in light. The wind will pass. But what it leaves behind will be permanent. The hour is shifting like a slow exhale from the lungs of heaven. Everything now bends under the gaze of divine sight. Nothing stays hidden when the angels turn their faces toward the ones they were sent to protect. You are no longer in the place where they left you. You are no longer the person they tried to erase. And now, the one who betrayed you is seeing it unfold, but they cannot stop what's coming. Archangel Michael says their eyes are on you now, but they are blinded by what they once distorted. They tried to steal your voice, but you were born with fire in your breath. You spoke truth into a storm, and now that storm is returning to its maker. They touched sacred ground when they wounded you. They crossed lines drawn in light when they pretended to care but pierced you with cold intention. And now heaven has drawn a circle around your name, none shall pass. You will feel the watcher before you see the signs. Sudden restlessness. Skin tightening without cause. Light flickering in strange rhythm. They are thinking of you, but God is silencing their reach. There is justice coded into this moment, not legal, not human. Divine justice, measured by soul weight, not evidence. This justice does not delay. It moves in waves, silent but permanent. God says this betrayal was permitted only to awaken your next level. You were never meant to stay small. The wound was the permission slip for your expansion. You will remember how it felt to doubt yourself. You will feel the echo of their laughter, their dismissal, their secrecy. But none of it will hold against what is arriving now. The one who betrayed you is unraveling slowly. Not by your hand. Not by vengeance. But by the unraveling of their own deception. They once called you broken. They once watched you bleed and offered no balm. But you were never bleeding, you were birthing. And now the spirit realm groans at the sight of your full arrival. Their whispers are failing. Their shadows are dissolving. Their weapons are rusting. The timing they trusted has betrayed them in return. Archangel Michael says your face has changed in the spirit. You are untraceable to the ones who tried to hex your peace. They no longer recognize your frequency, they only feel your absence. You were removed from the cycle of manipulation by divine hands. And what seemed like loss was actually rescue. What felt like rejection was holy redirection. Their name will pass through your mind again, but this time, without pain. This time, with peace. That is how you'll know the severing is complete. God says you are not the victim in this story, you are the evidence of heaven's interference. You are the page turned in fire, not by force. And they will witness it with regret. They have tried to reach you, through others, through old patterns, through memory. But you are no longer available. Your energy has been resealed by divine decree. You may feel a sudden rush of emotion, grief, sorrow, fury. Let it pass like wind. It is not yours anymore. It is theirs, circling the walls of your past with no door to enter. Heaven remembers what they did in silence. The angels witnessed every moment they mocked you behind false smiles. Every time they pretended to care while feeding the darkness. That testimony has been sealed. Judgment now unfolds. There will be a moment where you feel your breath slow without reason. Your ears will ring. That is the sound of their intention being blocked. That is the heavenly firewall activating. You will dream of water, rushing, pure, wide like oceans. That is your soul returning to itself. That is your cleansing, your restoration. Archangel Michael says this betrayal will no longer define your softness. Your vulnerability is no longer a wound, it's a sword covered in honey. Those who touch it now will taste truth, not poison. There is a name you no longer say aloud. You stopped mentioning them because it kept cutting your spirit open. But now, the silence is working against them. The void they left has become a holy gate. Someone you don't expect will speak truth soon. Someone who saw what they did. Someone who remained quiet too long. And now the pressure in their spirit will force their confession. You do not need to expose anything. Heaven will. You do not need to defend yourself. God already has. The one who betrayed you is losing grip on the illusion. Their mask is cracking in front of others. Their intentions are unraveling like frayed thread pulled from within. Do not look back, even when they reach out. Even when they act repentant. Even when they act like they didn't know what they were doing. Heaven saw the intent in their hearts. Before they acted, it was already judged. God says your anointing was never theirs to hold. Your purpose was never theirs to delay. And now, the cost of touching you without reverence is being collected. Your breath will shift. Your surroundings will feel lighter. That is their spiritual grip breaking. That is the divine removing all traces of their energy from your field. They will dream of you now. But you will not be in pain. You will be ascending. And they will awaken with the weight of what they lost echoing through their bones. You are not bitter. You are not bound. You are becoming. That is the mystery they will never solve. The betrayal made you unshakable. The silence made you holy. The abandonment crowned you in light. This is not about revenge. This is about remembrance. Heaven remembers who you are. Now the world must see it too.